nothing but cash shit, man.
Oh, we live, baby.
I love it, man. I love it. What's up, bro?
Poppin',
What's
bro.
going on, man? Let's
Good
have
to
some
see
fun,
you, bro.
man.
Yes, sir.
Got my guy here, man. Special episode of When the Ball Stops Bouncing.
Hey.
I'm trying to think, how would I introduce Obi? Well, I took some notes. There's only one way to introduce Obi, right? So, let's see. What is Nike, Puma, Gucci, Bose, AT&T, Netflix, Amazon Prime, CBS? Oh, and let's not forget, we got a track and field aficionado, MVP, 4-time school record holder in multiple events, all ACC honors.
Yep.
Fastest 400 runner in school, entrepreneur, model, fashion designer, Mr. I'm verified in real life. Y'all can have the internet. My guy, Obi, what's up, baby?
Yes, sir.
Yo,
Thank
appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate that
you.
intro.
Of course.
I almost forgot I ran track.
It's been a minute, right?
It's been a minute.
So
it's
that's
been
like,
a full minute.
I think that's the funniest thing about sports, right? I think that, like, you know, there was a point of our life where we woke up every day and we're like tying up our sneakers and we're forcing the issue in that sphere, but like now it's so much more to us. So when the ball stops bouncing, I'm really curious for you to tell your story. We're here for a reason. I don't know if you want to tell the people where we are, man. Where are we at? What's going on? Talk to them.
So right now we're in the Beverly Center in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So this is the store 8586.
Okay.
It's one of two black-owned stores in the whole Beverly Center. So you got brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Bloomingdale's. They're all here.
Okay.
And so are we.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on,
So
man.
like it's really powerful. Like what's happening right now. Like it doesn't happen often. But yeah, we're here in Beverly Hills. It's a Sunday, and like honestly, it's the Lord's Day, so I feel blessed.
Yes,
like,
man. Wow. So, okay, we're in the Beverly Center, we're in a store, but we're not just in a store, we're in a store because of Knotwtr. So let's talk a little bit about Knotwtr. And I think we'll get into the sports and how, like, you've been a successful athlete, but man, you got this drip on, man. We gotta talk about the drip, man. Let's talk about the drip.
Some light. This is actually a new piece that we've been working on, and this is actually called our Cybertron piece. So I like creating really cool names like for all of our pieces. And I feel like that kind of just stems from like me as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like one of my favorite movies was Transformers.
Okay.
Like I loved Shia LaBeouf. I loved just like that whole I love that whole series. So like one of my pieces named Megatron. This is Cybertron, and like every single time I level up, I like go to a new transform. I go to transform. So like I was Megatron, and I was like, yo, how does so I'll show you Megatron right now. Like, oh, see, I can just pull the pieces right there. Yeah. You know, we got the piece. So this is Megatron, and I was like, all right, how does Megatron evolve? Yeah. So I created Cybertron, and now this is our Cybertron drip. So like, I think a thing that always challenges me is like, for me to elevate from this drip and like. So in Transformers, it's like you're a Decepticon, and like that it just so many levels because it's like shades of like an octagon. So it's like you're developing more sides, which means like you're kind of like spreading out your wings. So if I want to create it or elevate this piece, I have to like actually make it happen. So like that's kind of like, you know, rule breaker for me. It's like, so it always challenges my creativity.
I love that, man. I love that. So when you say challenge your creativity, how do you even come up, like, conceptually? Like, I got this strip on. You know, this ain't nothing too crazy. You know what
Tron.
I'm really, you know, this is just Tron. There's no Mega in this Tron. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you find a piece like this, like, is there something that motivated you? Did you find any inspiration? Did you see something? Or did you just pull us out of your head?
Yeah, so honestly, with pieces, especially this one, a lot of this inspiration came from just having an amazing team. So like, I feel like I always surround myself with people who challenge me. So like, even when I created Megatron, I had a member on my team who I'd been working with, this designer, Miles. He's like, bro, he'd been working on some crazy stuff, and he's like, bro, and when I saw it, I was like, bro, we're gonna elevate this, and this is gonna be Cybertron. And like, so it's like about God really putting certain people around me, because at the end of the day, like, I'm also being a vessel, like, you know, so it's like I'm only able to do it as much as God is able to bring the people around me. So it's like I never take full credit for anything. For me, I need great manufacturers, I need great sewers, I need great people who can bring all my visions to life, because if I want to operate the business on a daily level, I can't do it myself. It's like, I'm about to post on social, do this, right now someone's making a piece. Right now someone's posting on our social media. Right now someone's answering an email. Right now. So it's like, there's so many things. So it's like, these are things that I love to do. So it's like I always credit it to the team. Like, you know, I always, if I feel like someone's better than me or operating at a higher level than me, great, bring him in.
Bring it in.
I'm not
Bring it in.
like I'm actually I embrace that. I'm like, yo, there's actually levels that I can reach better than this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the most exciting thing for me.
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying a lot. So where did this mindset come from, right? Like, I understand, like, okay, you created the drip, right? You understand teams, you understand, like, how, you know, business should operate. But
Yeah.
let's take a couple steps back. Let's talk about Obi as a kid. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I grew up in Boston. I'm Nigerian. I'm from Nigeria, and I actually had an interesting childhood where I grew up in Boston, was immediately brought back to Nigeria.
Oh, no.
And then immediately brought back to the. So it was just like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But these are things that I'm told. But I'm like, yo, imagine me living. I'm just, you know, as a kid going back and forth, but really ended up settling my foot in Boston and like growing up in like in Nigeria. Boston was amazing because it had a big Nigerian community.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was
I
like
know that.
I was surrounded by Nigerians any day I went to church,
Yeah.
which was as a kid half the time.
Right,
like,
right.
At that time, so like half the time I was surrounded around by Nigerians, and then so I just got a lot of amazing cultural experiences just because I was kind of in like a melting pot. Grew up in like, you know, just like the inner city, and then also got to experience suburban town. So really got to have that balance. Like, and I think that's helped me because my interpersonal skills and how I communicate is just a little different just because I can balance.
Of course. So that's where you and I have a lot in common. Based off 23andMe, I'm actually Nigerian as well.
Hey,
so,
yes,
you know what I
sir.
mean?
Yes,
Like,
sir.
we out here. You know
Yes, sir.
But I never had the privilege of living, you know what I'm saying, on the motherland, being in Africa. I've never had that privilege. I've gone to Africa, but I've never lived in Nigeria. So what was that like for you?
Nigeria, life-changing.
Wow.
Honestly, like I still, there's parts of me that loves LA, parts of me that loves America, but when I went to Nigeria, I felt like that was me. And it was like the weirdest feeling because I never felt like that any other place on earth.
No
Like,
way.
From the second you get embraced with love, people want to know more about you. People like they're embracing, like fully embracing you, like. And then also another thing that was interesting for me was Nigeria, like being able to experience both sides. There's the village that is widely commercialized throughout, you know, just the world, like Africa being this sort of place. But then there's also the side that's like the city, like the people who are lit. Like
Yeah,
there's
of
always
course,
two
of
sides of that.
course. Of course.
There cannot just be all poor.
Yeah, no. We know the
Someone
natural
is
resource-
rich. Like,
Yeah,
there's exactly. There's, and like so, it's like I got to see the other side of Nigeria, and that's what opened up. I was like, oh, this place is being marketed completely the wrong way.
gosh.
And like when I came back from Nigeria, someone's like, how would you explain it? I'm like, it's a mixture of New York, LA, Dubai, like Miami,
Really?
like all in one.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can stay out till 5-7, so
Really?
you're in Miami low key. But it's also warm all the time, so you're low key in LA. But you don't have to do the party stuff. You can go venture out, go on the beach, venture, shop, do whatever you want. People don't think you got that. But VI, Lagos, like Accra,
Yeah.
which is in Ghana, like these areas are very commercialized. So like they're offering the same type of things, and then you got the Miami vibes because if you want to get lit in the middle of the day, you're gonna get lit.
That's an option, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got Dubai because Dubai, you're going there for like how extravagant it is. Like, oh, Nigerians. You thought 10 bottles was cool in the club?
Yeah.
They'll bring out crates.
What?
They're like, oh, we ordered a crate. I'm like,
What?
oh, this is a whole new terminal.
Oh,
He's ordering bottle service. He's ordering crate service.
Yeah, it's
There's a
different.
difference.
It's different,
Don't
yeah.
compare it. Don't
Yeah.
be mad if you compare them.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool. No, that's cool. I mean, and again, like it's one of those things. Like again, having the privilege of going to Africa, everyone should experience it, right? As soon as you
100%.
get off the plane, weirdly enough, you feel like you're at home. I couldn't agree with you more. It felt like LA.
yeah.
Right away, like you
100%.
still have the houses in the hills, you still like have the views, you still
You
have
got
the walk.
all of that because LA is two dichotomies, like where people don't understand.
Yeah.
Like you can go, you can you got to drive to downtown all the time. Like I drive to downtown areas like that, and you're like, yo, am I still in the same LA? Because you might have just slid in Beverly Hills, gone to Korea, downtown. You're getting 3 different outlooks on life, like in like 10, 15 minutes. Like it's not that much time. So it's like Nigeria is very similar. Like you can go from someone begging on the street, which is the same thing in LA, to you're pulling up in a mansion. So
okay. Let's think about this. So you live in Boston, then you live back in Nigeria. How did sports start to trigger or change or like really just start to shape you as a person? When did you start playing sports?
Yeah, I would say it was around like 10, like 9. I think I was always playing sports, like to some extent, but I think like when it triggered as like a thing was like probably maybe like 3rd grade when I moved into my new town. Like, because I think when I lived in the inner city, like everyone's good. And no one, I think the issue with, at that time, why I don't have much recollection, because everyone was good. And I think when you're growing up in an environment like that, they're not going to literally let you know how good you are.
No, of course not.
So it's like you played, I played catching Odell's. No one would say nothing. Right. So it's like, no one tells you that you're good. But when I moved to the suburbs, I think that's when I realized I was good at sports, like actually good, because it was, you do something, people are like, whoa, like
they're
like, hey, you're on my team.
I'm
people
you.
Used to be like, I mean, you're all right, but we're gonna pick you. Like they're gonna keep you humble. Like you don't even know it's happening. Cool. Like you don't.
That's cool.
So I think I realized that when I moved to the suburbs, like unfortunately, and then I just started to slowly tap into a different element. You start winning, and then you just start winning. That's it. Like sports, all you can do is win. That's kind of what gives you the confidence.
That's
and
all
like,
that matters.
I did that in multiple sports. Like I tried everything. I tried baseball, tried basketball, tried football, tried track, tennis, soccer, like everything. Like, and so like I was good at all of them, and then the issue was I had to pick which one.
That's what I'm like. How do you choose? Like, that's way, like, I would have decision fatigue. How do you choose what sport? How did you know? Okay, I'm good at all this. What am I the best at? How do you figure out what you're the best at?
Yeah, it's crazy enough. If I had the choice today, I probably would have played baseball or basketball.
No way.
Yeah, like baseball was like one of those sports I loved. Like it had my heart like early on, but honestly, when I got to high school. I think so. When I got to high school, I didn't run track yet in high school.
Oh, really?
So I was playing football in the fall. I was playing basketball in the winter and baseball in the spring. I had to stop soccer in the fall because of football, and then I had to stop casually playing tennis. I had to stop swimming because that was a winter sport. So I just started cutting off things. I was like, screw it. Like, just get where your energy's from. And like, also I was like, yo, football. I go to league. So these people start feeding those things into you.
Of course.
If you could go to the NBA, you could go this, or you could be a pro. Because and I got to high school. I did my first season of football. Did my first season of basketball. I ended up getting most improved for basketball because like I started off the season trash. Ended up just finishing the season like averaging almost like 20 points a game. Like. Just there was one game I just didn't even miss a shot. Right. Like, and I think that's what you definitely improved.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Most improved. This nigga didn't miss.
Like, I think he got it.
I think he got it.
He got it.
And then I had to decide between baseball and track, which was probably the hardest decision because that was the sport I loved the most. And I just ended up trying track, and I gradually did well, and I think the gradualness of my improvements on a first-time sport made me want to stay with it. Because all the other sports I had played it up until then, and I saw the improvements, but I never saw jumps like this, like where I'm taking like I'm damn well going from like a D3 prospect to a D1 overnight. Like so. For me, that was the selling point. Like when my coach kind of pulled me aside, he's like, "Yo, based off where you're running right now, there's no way you're not going D1. There's just no way." So he's like, we started to have this talk. Like, all right, he started gearing my mind towards like trying to be the best in the country, just being the best wherever I was. Like, it wasn't. I stopped worrying about going Division I. Like, it was like set in at like 14. And he's like, "Bro, you're running what these D1s are running at 14. Like, so he's like, just based off your natural and how your body's going to progress, you're going to get there. So don't worry about that.
That's interesting.
You actually just need to stay healthy and you're going to get. So he gave me that confidence early on, and he was a hard ass. Like, he was on my. So I think that's when I started to realize it, from when I was 14, and then just this whole suburban switch. Like, yeah.
So having, because coaching, mentors, life lessons is so much a part of who we are, what we do, 100%. Right? How we keep going, right? Was there a coach in particular that gave you any life lessons? Was there a moment in your life where you said, "Hey, look, this is really a turning point. This is who I am." Right?
Yeah.
Was there a moment for you?
Yeah, there was. It was at 13, 14, freshman year, and it was, I think, the first week of track practice, because I came in, this athlete who had basically done everything. I'm just doing track because y'all called me here. Like,
y'all brought me in.
I'm fast. Y'all knew that. That's why y'all asked me here. Y'all try to get me from the football basketball team. So exactly. So it's like none of y'all were on the football basketball team besides me.
Sure. And
none of y'all played. I don't recognize a starter here.
That's fair.
So like that was so it was like I got humbled real quick in the sense where it's a different type of muscle and endurance that you had to work. And I remember we had to do bear crawls across the football field, and coach purposely did on the football field because he was like, "Oh, you're a football player, so this is easy for you, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just do 100. We'll just do the full football field, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
no problem. Sure,
like this is easy. And like I think when I started seeing other people, because these are the same drills that people had been doing in the winter, in the fall with him. He had been there all year.
Got it.
And
you were playing another sport.
I was playing other sports, and that's when I realized it's all a different muscle, and like I had to humble myself to every sport. And so I think that's where I became very coachable. Like that was something I always got early on. Like this guy, he's easy to work with. He's easy to work with. Like none of my coaches ever had, because they're not coaching me. I'm trying to beat myself.
Right,
like,
of course.
Screw I'm gonna take what you're saying, but I'm gonna see what you're saying both doing, and I'm gonna try to do something like that. Like so, they never really had to coach me. I was. If you told me to work out 5 days a week, I'm probably doing 7.
Bro.
Like so, like.
No, you're saying some real, right? Because at the end of the day, I always say like, you could never be harder on me than I am on myself. You know what I mean? And like, when I think about my athletic career, it was always like, all right, cool. Well, I know Obi likes to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's your time. You're going to go hard Monday, Wednesday. I'll be there, right? I'll kick your ass Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But then I have somebody else that wants to be there Tuesday, Thursday. I have someone else that does Saturday only, right? So I want to get your best every time we go to the gym, right? So being coachable, setting my goals, kicking your ass, right? Like,
exactly.
That's what I live to do. You know what I mean? So we can get in there, we can grind and get better. If we can get better, then the team gets better. At the end of the day, we all reach our goals. So that's
100%.
That's fire, bro. Like, and being coachable. So how do you, and I want to get to the business side, but then I'm also curious because, like you said that you kept getting better and better in track. So let's stay on track, and let's hear about, so 13, 14, you're killing it. Now you go, how do you get to college? Like what's that look like?
So it started, let's just say it's 14, because high school basically 14 through 18.
Yeah.
My freshman year, I think I came out the gates. So my 400 time, I was running, my first time was like 75 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is a minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm not, you times that by a mile, we're not running, that's not a fast mile.
No, not yet.
I'm not doing that. So that was my first time ever. So like that was a real, like coming off, being a football player, like basketball, that was a real humbling thing. So like, and then that was coming off of like the training we were already doing, the bear crawls, all that. So like, oh, bro, you're not even that fast.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, chill out.
Like, are you even athletic?
And now everyone's jokes is like, yo, other sports, y'all aren't good at track.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a running joke, like between like,
Because like in basketball, big men run, like a big man has to run a mile in 6 minutes, right? So let's just go 115 by 4. That's 6 minutes.
Exactly.
Like, basically running like a 7-footer.
Like on a 7-footer, they're like, all right, 7-footer, like nice time. Like they're like, we have females running faster than you. Do you want to practice with the girls? Yeah. And for me, like things like that, I'm just not going to take. I'm like, nah, we're going to fix this. Like, and so I just kept on. I think I went from 75 to 62. Yeah,
Now we
no.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
Like
now we
I
talking.
dropped 13. Like I wasn't, because
Now we talking.
yeah, 75 to 62 went 57, and then long story short, just basically finished the season off at like 52, 53.
Oh my God.
So like I dropped in a season like almost 22, 23 seconds. Like, and it was every race was like, the 13 was the big jump, but then the coach was like, bro, this guy's dropping like at least 1 to 4 seconds a meet, like on average. Like, like if I didn't drop time, it didn't make sense. And like that was just kind of like a gradual thing I did with track, and it just got harder and harder. Like second year, I came in freshman 53 runner, which put me like top 10 in the state. And then second year just knocked it down. I think I was like dropped it like almost like an average of half a second.
Wow.
So I finished the season like 51. Junior year, I started hitting like 50s consistently. Like now colleges are looking at, you can go to any school in Massachusetts,
Anyway,
New England at that point. But then if you go under 50, you get national attention.
Oh, wow.
So I'd gone under 50 for a couple of splits, which are relay times, but that gets people excited because they're like, okay, you know, someone on you.
We can use this guy,
Yeah, usually it's your anchor who ran the fastest. They're like, who's your anchor? They're like, well, this guy Obi, he ran a 50. And they're like, okay, I think that split's pretty active.
So cool.
And then senior year, I came out the gates. I ran 49 in the first meet. Like, I didn't even run with high school kids. I said, I was one, like, by the time senior year came, I was like, yo, Massachusetts is such like a small, there's only, I could count how many kids on my hand were faster than me at that point. Like in the whole entire state. And I didn't personally know these kids. These are just kids I'm seeing on paper.
But I bet they knew you.
Exactly. Because like it's like we secretly, if we see, let's go. Brian Summers. That's it. Like we secretly know each other, but we don't act. And social media wasn't around, so it's like unless I add you on MySpace, like I'm like actually
You're not
about to
making
like,
my top 8. Don't worry about it.
bro. So it's like everyone kept their distance. I think nowadays would have been cool because it probably would have been completely different. We probably would have been like cool, trying to figure out how to train with each other, but at that time there was no connection. So I'm just looking at this paper. I'm like, I can't find a person in my vicinity I can even train with that's on my level. So I just went to a college meet, and I went to, it was a Boston University meet. It was the first meet of the year, so BU was running, and then people from outside areas could sign up independently. So I paid for myself to sign up independently. I was working at Starbucks, so I had a little money.
Like a little pocket
Exactly.
change.
So I was like, yo, I'm just going to sign up for the meet. And I signed up for the meet, and I ran like 49.7 or 49.6, and I qualified for nationals on the first meet.
Oh, wow.
And like that's basically what opened up the doors, because all the colleges were there.
Yeah.
And I beat the college kids. And I was a senior in high school. So
interesting.
And it was an indoor track, which is harder to run that time
Got
on
it.
an indoor track because you're running against banks and stuff. So it was
That's fire.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
Yeah.
And from there, I got contacted by UConn, BC, Michigan, Stanford, Harvard, UVA, UMass, UR, just every school in the area. And I had good grades too, so I wasn't. All those schools I was already
Qualified
getting.
for,
Yeah, I was already
yeah.
getting. So
I can get in as a student, or I can get in as an athlete. But in this case, you guys can get me for both, right?
Exactly, so-
it opens up a lot of doors. So, so you talk about being most improved on an athletic field, right? You talk about it in basketball, right? You talk about it in track, right? Now, because obviously those numbers that you're shaving off, that's a testament to your hard work. What do you credit your hard work to? What drives you? Do you constantly just have a chip on your shoulder? Why are you like this?
yeah, I would say like probably started like early on, like as a kid, like. I think like my parents got divorced early on.
Okay.
I feel like every person who's like successful kind of went through some sort of childhood trauma.
Without a doubt.
And I feel like maybe that kind of fueled me, just like maybe like a lack of something and always wanting to fill that void.
Yep.
But then it also came, I'm just on a simplicity level. Like I'm one of those people like, if I could literally go to my story, and if I see you working out and I haven't worked out, that's it. Like on my days off, I should not check my phone because it's not about to be a day off no more. Like it's little things like that. I'm like, nah.
Yep.
So
There's no way.
like for me as an athlete, I'm a statistician. Like so I'm looking at the top guys in the state. I'm looking at guys in New England, around the country. I'm like, how can I position myself to be and have a successful career in track? And like every single time, in high school, I just said my goals were never over. They were very realistic in what I was willing to put in. Like I had this expectation. I wanted to be a professional athlete, but I always knew like I didn't really fully want that. So because at the end of the day, you give up everything.
For sure.
You give up everything.
For sure.
So
That's
like
the penalty of success.
Exactly. Like I didn't give up everything.
Yeah.
So like I have to also be okay with. Are you giving up 90, 95%?
Yep.
You got to be realistic with that.
Yep.
So with that, like I just like I was just willing to give up a certain amount to like get to where I was.
Yep.
High school, the goal was to qualify for nationals and be on a national stage. College, the goal was to just be the best at wherever I was.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it, because I'm like, to be as good as Usain Bolt, I realized from an early age, I was like, damn, this shit, I don't know if my hammy, you know.
I agree. You know, so like I think that there was, I guess there's a realization now that we're having this conversation. I guess there's a realization in every athlete's life where it's like, man, like, yeah, some dudes work hard, right? But like, a lot of people work hard. I'm not negating that, but there are some dudes that wake up and they can really do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
so
really
it's like,
do it.
I think in my career, and like a lot of people are like, dude, like, how did you go from playing basketball to just completely cold turkey? Yo, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, okay, look, when the ball stops bouncing, it stopped bouncing.
Facts.
You know, and it's just like, well, can I live with the dude that stays out till 5 a.m, gets hammered, and he drops 40 the next day, and I work my ass off. I put up 1,000 shots the day before, and I'm still missing.
Yeah.
Right, and this dude is just money.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, like it's just like, just put it there and it's over. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, what other gifts can we tap into? And I think that you've done an amazing job of tapping into your different gifts, but let's walk people through it, right? So I know you went to BC, right? You kicked ass there.
Yeah, it was
broke
cool.
all the records. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm better than you. Dude, as soon as I get healthy, I'm gonna show you what's up.
Yeah.
So let's stick into that chapter for a second. What's it like? You step into BC. What's it like for you?
It was one of the biggest wake up calls, like in so many different ways. Like BC was like a humbling / eye opening experience, because humbling in the sense where, well, let me talk eye opening, like because you just get out the house. Like it's my first time fully getting out the house.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yo. I still remember being out and I still check my phone. Like it's 11.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have to be home right now.
No one checked for me. Like, and kind of being in that. Like, she go, my mom gonna call me. Like, am I in trouble? Like, and like being like 2 o'clock. Like I'm outside.
The
like
street lights are on.
Like, and that was eye opening for me. And like a very, like it was just amazing. Like, and then you can go back and you have a home.
Yeah.
Like your parents ain't there.
Point.
Like it's crazy. You could have anyone. Like so all these things I had to slowly get used to. Like because you're like, yo, what y'all doing after? Well, we can go to. No, we can go to my crib.
Got open crib.
Like what's good? Like so that I loved those like first moments. Like I think I will forever like cherish those. But then it was also eye-opening, like, the amount of workload it was. Like, to be a student athlete there, like, any person who graduates from that school as a student athlete and does it well, both, like, I'm not talking about you did the sport, you did the school, did it well, it's very challenging, like, because a lot of kids fail off, a lot of kids fail first semester, a lot of kids just scrape by, like, you know. And like I was in the business school, which was the hardest one at that school. Like we were ranked 3rd in the country. Kids go there just to be in the business school. Kids fly out internationally just to be in the business school. So that wasn't my main focus. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get the records. Like, but I'm still trying to get an A in this class.
Records over here too, though. Right? I'm getting
like,
records on both sides. So yeah, I mean that's not talked about a lot, right? So I don't know if you recall, but if you remember like what your schedule was on a day-to-day basis, what did it look like being a student athlete?
7. So I probably woke up around 6 or 7 most of the time, like. And then usually my class, I had to always have 8 a.m. classes. So like I was always up early. That was just a given. I had no choice because we had practice. Practice was at noon. I came in at 11, 10:30 if I could, so I can get PT for about an hour and a half. And then practice was at noon every day. Finishes at 3. Or finishes at like 2. You can leave at 3. And then classes start at 3. Yeah.
No, it's full days, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you guys had like study hall and everything else, right? So it's
So
like,
the crazy thing about the track team, we didn't even have mandatory study halls.
Really?
Because we're such a well academically our average GPA on the team was like a 3.3.
Got it.
So
Got it.
like
Yeah.
kids there, no one's
serious. Right?
Yeah,
They
it's
understand
like
where they are.
if you fail and people are like, you don't even want people
just
to know
won't
you
be
on
here.
the academic probation. Like, why you go on the track team, bro?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No,
you
see,
better get them good grades. You ain't going in professional.
See, that's just
Like,
that's a little different than basketball,
Yeah.
man. I know we had a minimum of like 8 hours a week, right? So I know like typically we had at least 2 hours of study hall that we had to do with the team, and then I know like afterwards, right? It's just it's no different than sports, right?
Yeah.
So it's like just how you have practice, right? After practice, you have to put in that extra work, right?
Exactly.
So I know in a lot of cases we would find like study buddies, or we would just try to figure out how to collaborate or innovate and find different ways to be able to push the agenda forward, right?
you have to
It's the only
collaborate
way.
on like I was always collaborating with kids. Like I think that's also what kind of improved my social skills because like and I think team building because I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, y'all trying to finish this homework later?
Right,
together?
'Cause look, I know the teacher. Like, I'm on chapter 3. And
Yeah,
like, you know,
I got 2 hours today, and she said, "Total, like, there's nothing. I don't have more than 2 hours.
That's right.
If I want 4 hours of sleep
Yeah.
before this meet tomorrow, so like, we gotta collab. Like,
So let's jump into after college, right? So you understand like team building, you understand time management, you understand collaboration. How do you transition from being a top tier athlete into the business world? What's your first step? Where do you go?
yeah. So internships.
Okay.
Yeah, I started getting internships. Like, I'd always been working. Like, I think I got my first job at like 12 or 13. Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
was mowing lawns,
Yeah.
like walking dogs, doing
Yep.
that whole thing, and then I got a job when I was 13 at this tuck shop. So
Oh, wow.
like every prom season, I'd be in that shop working
Yep.
hours, and like
Yep.
I'd make bank. Like,
Yeah.
so I'd be chilling. I'm like, yeah, prom, and I get a free. I had to get the flies. And these are the things that kind of built me early on because I worked at a tuck shop.
Yeah.
Who's walking in with the Flies Tux? You already know Obi.
Of course,
I gave
of
y'all
course.
everything else, and I
Yeah.
saved that one for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, that one.
that
Someone
one, no,
already
no,
has that one.
yeah.
I don't think that one's
It ain't
sold.
available.
Yeah, and it wouldn't look good on you anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
we don't got your size.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you my size. We don't got it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I can
You were
look at
36.
I do this all day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not for you. It's
Like,
not
it's not for you. So,
That's fire. That's
so
fire.
like, I got nice tuxes. I think every year until I was like a junior for free. Like, so like, you know, that added a little sauce and confidence in the town. But I always just worked. Like, and then by the time I got into college, I'd got an internship at Ernst & Young, which
Okay.
is like one of like the big four accounting firms. So I worked there for 2 years. And that was great because put money in my pocket and then also let me know what I didn't want to do.
Yep.
And then
Which is also as important as knowing what you want to do is understanding what you don't want to do.
yeah, it was very important. Like I was super lucky because most people don't get their internships till junior year. I got that internship sophomore year, like an exclusive program where they bring in 10 kids. Like, yeah. So I was blessed, like, because I met some amazing people through that program, and like then it got me the job junior year. We came in vets into the internship. Like,
Yeah.
imagine an internship and y'all walking in like y'all own the place. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
y'all worked here for one summer.
Yeah. But you know everyone, right?
I
You put
know
in the work.
everyone. Like, yo, what's up, y'all?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, how's your internship? Oh yeah, we've been here for a year.
Right. I know did you meet
Yeah.
Carl yet?
What's up, Jim?
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
like we already
exactly.
got our own handshakes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. No.
So it's just like we walked in there, and then the interns that were already there, we was actually the cool interns, like because they did this black exclusive program.
Oh, really?
So it was like the coolest kids from all the best schools. So like,
fire.
and we were all athletes too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
the football players, like like the basketball players, like and all like one. I remember one of the guys. He was like friends with his brother or cousin was on the Celtics at the time.
Oh, wow.
So like the Celtics players, like he was like cool with all of
Yeah.
them, and so it was just one of those things. We pop up into the club, like,
man.
and we are kids at that age making what, like $4 or $5 grand every
Right.
2 weeks, and I mean every month or 20.
Sheesh.
We're living at home,
bro,
like,
bro.
and then we're working overtime hours, so
Oh,
we're
yeah.
really, some of us were really making like $3-4 grand a
Yeah,
week, and like
yeah.
when you don't have expenses, like that's the world.
Bro,
So
take me back to that time, right?
Bro,
man.
like,
I would
right-
do anything to go back to that time.
Like, bro.
What are all these bills? What are we doing, right?
bro, I never felt like that was rich. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
We go because like Monday through Friday you grind. That Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
That was.
Yeah. I mean, talk about being a big man on campus, right?
Right.
I mean, your card works. You can do anything.
Exactly.
Right?
You can call an Uber, bro. Uber was just Uber. You're the man. Yeah. Just calling an Uber.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Everybody's like,
we didn't know how to get. I thought we were gonna have to take the train.
At that point, you're like, man, look, it's cold.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Like, look,
I got
don't
it,
worry about
y'all.
It's cool. Let's just go. Everybody, come on.
All right, we got it.
But I think that probably goes back to what you were talking about. So let's just talk about the power and the quality of building relationships. Like, what impact has relationships had in your life?
Oh, everything. Like, and I think I learned building relationships because when I started building businesses and needed other people's help, relationship was everything. So, like in college, I started an entertainment company. So I was throwing some of the biggest events in school.
Wow.
Then I was also brand ambassadoring for a lot of big brands. Like I didn't even realize at the time it was so casual to me that I was just getting this stuff, but it wasn't a thing. Like, like I wasn't in the social media realm, but I was doing social media things. So like Red Bull was sending me cases, Coca-Cola, like these companies send me clothes, free stuff, and I'm just spreading it around campus, not even knowing. Like, that's if you look at it now, that's a brand ambassador. And I'm not even realizing. So at that time, I just thought it was cool. I'm like, bet, like. And athletes weren't getting paid, so like any way to kind of get a brand attached to you was kind of cool. So, that's kind of how I started doing team building because I started throwing events, and I realized I can't promote an event to 500 or 1,000 people by myself. Like I need the top guys in each space. So I started just hiring people to work with me, and like we started building, and like I started seeing I would make way more money just by helping other people, and it was just indirect, or it'd just be at the most randomest thing, like, yo, bro, good looks for that event 3 weeks ago, bro. You like, bro, we would have not got in. Yo, my boy just sent you 200, bro. What for? What? No, bro. You don't realize, like, no, he bought this table. They ended up getting, and you're like, oh. I wasn't even doing it for that, but thank you. Like 200, I'm rich for a month in college.
Right on time.
Like perfect. Like so, just little things like that. I just realized like all blessings, whether they're in front, whether they're delayed, or whether they don't happen, it doesn't even matter. Like it's just about the sheer fact of doing it. And like honestly, I got excited seeing how happy people were. Like,
of course,
I think throwing an event, when you can see 500 to thousands of people happy in an event that you're throwing, and like it was cool. I wasn't throwing just random events in college. Like I was trying to partner up with the big dogs in town, and like I was always into music, so I booked Chance the Rapper, Chainsmokers, like Chance the Rapper when he just had Acid Rap, like Cocoa Butter Kisses, like I'd been listening to him, Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, then to later go back and work with them years way down the line. It's like this full circle experience. I'm like, bro, I've been tapped into y'all since I was like 11, like 12. Like, it's kind of weird.
But it's cool though, right? It's cool at the same time. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm doing this entertainment business. How do you start to be like, yo, like I'm actually a pretty decent looking person? You know what I mean? Like, like brands not only should want to work with me, but then you went down the path of modeling. How does one even get into modeling? How does that work?
It was there's like two people who kind of gave me that confidence. There's my friend John Vaughn, who I always thank for because he was a child model and his sister was a big time model early on in her career. He gave me a lot of confidence. He goes, bro, you should do this. I'm like, no, I'm playing sports. He's like, nah, but she might end.
Just in case it ends.
Like he was always kind of like that person. I didn't want to hear it, but he's like, you great. Yeah. But you might also be great at something else too. And like, but normally I think at first I would take offense to things like that because I'm like, oh, you don't believe I'll become a professional? And that was kind of like an edge thing for me. Oh, y'all don't think I can become a professional? Watch me. And then you have your athlete realization and like, your humbleness through that. So and then my friend Melissa, who was like probably one of the first people to ever pick up a camera and take a picture of me, like a professional picture of me. So like she took a picture of me for an internship with Kenneth Cole. Oh, wow. She interned for them junior year, and she ended up that picture the photo shoot that we did, which was like just outside of like the dorm on the last day before we were about to move out, ended up being like this photo that was repurposed and used as like for multiple presentations for Kenneth Cole, and he really liked it. Yeah. And when she kept on telling me he really liked it, me, and during that time, I also had money from my internship, so I used to buy like J. Crew Banana Republic. So I just started buying all Kenneth Cole my junior year,
of course,
and then she started selling me all that. So it just developed this secret back love for fashion, but then also this like love for like, damn, like someone this great actually likes a picture of me.
Yeah.
Like I'd never been admired in that way to like, just like from someone who's actually in fashion. So like, I think those thoughts started circulating my head my senior year of college, and then I did really well my senior year of college. Like it was my best year in track ever.
That's
like,
cool.
like my best year like in college, like period. Like got the internship, got the great job, like coming out, just everything worked. Like, and then but then there was still something that was unsettling. I was like, I don't know why I feel like I can do this. Like it was just kind of like this weird. I didn't know why. I was like,
scratch that itch. You were like, like I've done it, and it's like it's really destiny, right? At the end of the day, it's like we all have a purpose in life, and like some things we're just destined to do. And I think that regardless if you're E&Y or if you did anything else, right, you were just curious what could be over there, right? And I think that curiosity really leads to a lot of successful people because you're so curious. You're like, I won't stop until I get this answer, right? And I think that when you talk about your story from sports and being able to have your back against the wall and say, yo, can I do this?
Yeah.
Right? And being able to run through that wall, you've been able to do that. Academics, you said, hey, look, I've been a top-tier athlete, but I can also be a top-tier student as well.
Facts.
You've done that, right? So then in the fashion world and being a brand ambassador, you're like, these brands continually look to me to be the answer to their problem for a specific reason. So you're like, I'm going to run through that wall too, but now we have Knotwtr. Tell me about Knotwtr. What's the name? What's the brand? What's the drip? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. So Knotwtr stands for not neglecting our talents, willing to take risks.
Coincidentally, right?
Yeah,
You see
like, exactly. So it's like, honestly, the name was accidental in the way I stumbled upon it, but the meaning was always there. And God landed me towards the name. So I still remember the day it was the weirdest day. Like at that time I was living in Beverly Hills with my homie Tim. We had a crib over there, and Frank, and I remember I used to always take these morning walks. Like it was so beautiful. Like the morning walks were dope. Like
morning walks in Beverly Hills.
It was really. So I was just the stairs. It was these long stairs. Like if you've ever been to that crib, walk all the way down, and then there's a hill. And I remember right when I opened the door, this gush of like water just streamed down the hill. And I remember just being like almost like thrown back by it. But then like the way the rocks were set up in like I almost call them barriers to entry. They were blocking the water, and like it was stopping different paths, but it was still going.
Wow. And
I was just like, yo, that shit is not water.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, because the water, it didn't matter what was in front of it, it was still going. I was like, yo, that shit is like not even water.
Yeah.
Like, but the second I said it, I was like, not water. And I wrote it down. I was like, I like that. And then I just came about it later because I was already in the process of trying to find a name for the company.
That's cool.
And I was just like doing things, but none of the names were sticking. I called my sister, was like, yo, I thought of the name. It's not water. She's like, all right, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Love it.
Like, cool. She's like, so now you have to build a brand behind it. Now you got to do this. I was like, yeah, but the name, you don't get it? Like,
But it's locked in your head.
Yeah, it was already locked in.
You're starting to develop your thoughts, and you're like, look, it's not water. This is what we're going to do. This is who we are, right? So now you have your brand. You're starting, like, what was the first collection like to even drop that? What was the investment? What was the time? What did it look like? Yeah,
so the first collection, it started off with eyewear. Okay. So eyewear was accidental. Like, I wanted to do clothing, but I think for me with the whole fashion space, I didn't realize how much work it actually took. Like, so I was like, oh, just make the clothes, make the glasses, the bags, everything, it'd all be ready at the same time. And then the production said, wait, that's not how it works. Like, that's not how, there's product development, there's quality testing, like not the first product you order isn't going to be the product that makes your brand. So it's like, I went through the rigorous just learning process of like what fashion could be, and then eyewear was the first thing that finished. Wow. So, and then it was summer. Yeah. So it was just
perfect
like,
timing.
Yeah, I was like, the brand got to start now. Yeah. Like, we're not about to drop eyewear in the winter. Like, I didn't want to launch it in the winter. It's okay to drop pieces in the winter that are eyewear, but when you're more established, you can do something. But to launch it, I knew it had to be in the summer. Like,
that's cool.
So, started off, and that's kind of how Knotwtr was born from there.
That's fire. So
Yeah.
what do we have coming? I mean, I know you're wearing a drip. What's coming? Obviously, we're in the Beverly Center. Let's make sure that people know they can come
Yes.
here and pick up your gear. But
Facts.
I know you had a recent announcement with your eyewear, but then also let's just talk about the brand. What do we have coming?
Yeah, so right now our eyewear is in basically TJX in Canada.
Yep.
So we're in 500 stores. So TJ Maxx owns TJX, which is TJ Maxx is like the American division, and then they have divisions in Europe and then divisions in Canada. So we start off with a division in Canada, and we're in 500 stores there with Home Goods, Home Sense, Marshalls, and like basically all their kind of like Canadian stores. Yeah. And then so that's our eyewear, and then our clothing is in here. Beverly Center, and then we're in
what store in the Beverly Center? So
8586.
8586.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they're on the 6th floor, right next to Bloomingdale's.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can check it out here, and then we're also in like a small boutique called Drescue, and then we're gonna be. I'll wait till they announce it.
Okay. You got some heat coming.
Yeah.
What about online? Is there an online presence that we can shop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we sell online. And that's usually where we sell the most, like online. So
Okay. So for someone that wants to get in touch with you, someone that wants to stay in touch with you and really just follow you on your progress, not only with Knotwtr, but also with your brand activations and all that you have going on, what's the easiest way to stay in touch?
Yeah, so I would say we have a very good social media team. So if you hit us up on our IG, if it's not me, it's gonna get to me. Our team's really good. So like on IG, but even for my personal, I think for me, it's like I grew up on the East Coast, and I grew up in a very different culture. So I never really get caught up in like I want to service and connect with people, and especially from the brand side, I'm usually I'm usually more shocked that people like my brand than I'm like cocky about it, in the sense where where it's like I've been humbled in it, and like it's something that I do out of like love and spirit. I always say I'm like I remember when I ordered my last collection, every single piece I was like, well, if no one buys it, at least I got inventory for life. There was a weight lifted off my shoulder, because I was like, I would legitimately wear this for the rest of my life if no one bought it. And
I don't think you had that problem. People bought your stuff.
So thankfully didn't have the problem. Thankfully I'm not having the problem. But it's just to show I love wearing my stuff. It's like it has a special place in like my heart. Every single piece. So whenever people like it and have something to say about the brand, I'm actually open ears. Like I actually want to hear all the different types of interpretation, how it resonates with you, how it makes you feel, because it actually helps me learn about the brand, because I'm also building it in real time too. So Knotwtr, it's about being flexible, about being flowing. So from the source of it, I also have to be flexible and flowing to what people have to say. Like,
of course,
people tell me like, oh, we'd like to see more of this. Like a big thing, we start off with 3 pairs of glasses, a black, white, and red.
Wow.
Our audience told us we wanted to see more colors in every single, and that's why like those black mirror frames. That's why we have those frames. That frame would have not existed if it wasn't for. If I was like, no, I'm doing it this way.
Super rigid.
But no, people. I saw the comments. I saw the DMs. I saw the personal messages. Like, bro, like I love this, but like, man, this would look killer in all black. This would look killer. I'm like, okay. Like, bro, you should have more color variations. Like, I see Knotwtr like you guys having so much pop, like being able to get all the standout pieces. I'm like, okay. So like, I'm understanding how people are perceiving the brand.
That's incredible.
So like, constantly I'm not one of,
Back
and I hope
coachable.
I can stay at that.
Yeah,
Exactly. I want to be coachable. I'm trying to coach me to the brand.
Help me help you.
Help me exactly.
That's
Like,
incredible.
because that's what it's all about. Like, I want to create high quality pieces that help people feel more confident and empowered, because like I'm letting y'all know when I wear this out, I'm sorry, like I already know I'm him. I already know I was him, and then I became him.
It's nothing like this on the market.
There's nothing like it. So it's like
a custom piece, right? So okay, let's I guess let's wrap here, man. So
Yeah.
so if there's one thing that you've learned, whether it's being in the fashion industry or being an athlete or just in everything, everyday life, what do you want to leave the people with? That's just like, hey, man, like these are the pillars of life, or this is something I've learned through sports, through business, through fashion. What's that for you?
Yeah, I feel like there's probably like multiple pillars. Like I think maybe from sports, like a big thing that I learned is like consistency, like hard work, and like honestly sacrifice. Nothing will come if you don't sacrifice. Like, you know, if you're not willing to give up almost everything to get probably like you have to really ask yourself what you're asking for. And I think when I start to have those humble conversations with myself, it's like, bro, what do you really want?
Yeah.
And I when I settled on like, all right, bro, you want to be a professional? This is what it's gonna take. And I was like, all right, you want to be the best college? This is what it's gonna.
Yeah.
All right, you want to be the best at your school? This one take.
Yeah,
I can do that one,
Of
you know.
course.
So it's like just figuring out what you really want, and then being realistic with yourself. And being realistic with yourself doesn't mean you taking yourself from like, oh, I don't. It's not you saying you don't think you can do it, but it's just being with expectations. Like,
Totally.
you know, like if you don't have good expectations or you don't mitigate, you're going to be miserable. And I
Totally.
think it's very easily for athletes to be miserable and fall prone to like things like depression, like anxiety. There's so many things I had to deal with as a college athlete that, you know, I'm just learning to deal with better now. And like, honestly, I'm glad that I had to deal with all of them because it's made me 100% better now. So
Absolutely.
I think just finding your happiness in it. I think I saw a crazy cover on YouTube that I was like, without even watching it, I already know what he's about to talk about. Like, it was Carmelo Anthony. He was like, I'm still a champion, like even without the rings or
Without the
something.
ring, yeah.
And like, because he's like, he found peace. He found peace in that sport, and you can't leave that sport without finding peace, or you're gonna be bitter.
true.
You're gonna be sorry. Like,
true.
so many kids, like from my college right now, if you ask them about their experience, it's gonna be completely different from my experience. I left this sport peaceful. I left a record holder. I left a winner. I left setting every goal I wanted to.
Wow.
But if I had set my goal like, all right, if I don't become an Olympian out of college, I'm not happy, then what would have happened? No matter what I accomplished, if I didn't accomplish that, I would have not been happy.
Without a doubt.
So it's like, it's just a shame. Just figure out, like, you know, just be realistic with yourself.
That's
and
right.
then find that groundingness and that happiness. And it doesn't mean, oh, like, when I was being realistic with myself and said, oh, I'm not going to be an Olympian, I'm just going to be the best at my school.
Right.
That didn't mean I was like, oh, I'm going to work out 7 days a week. Now it's going to be 6. Like, I was like, no, I'm going to still go for it. Like, I still fully went for it. But it was just in the mind, like, bro, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. And like I think that so often we forget that, man, in life there's going to be obstacles, right? In entrepreneurship there's going to be obstacles, right? But it doesn't mean that we're not great. We are great, right? And I think that when we constantly set these different goals, we don't have to stick a timeline. So often we put this timeline and it's fictitious, right? At the end of the day, it's something that we came up with in our mind. I think you said it best when you said, hey, look, I'm going to have this fashion line, right? And you say, look, I have eyewear, I have bags, I have clothes, I have all this stuff that I want to launch at the same time. But are you unsuccessful because you launch eyewear first? No, you're going to launch the most unbelievable eyewear brand. You're going to open it up to the world and allow them to receive and give you feedback, right? And I think that so often we set these goals. So what, you know, it's 2023, it's early June for us, but man, at the end of the day, what we accomplish in June, right, has an impact for us to be able to build momentum for July, for August, for September, for October, right? So let's use these opportunities to build momentum. Let's not be so keen and so focused on that timeline. Let's be keen and focused on building that momentum time and time again, and surrounding ourselves around people that we can hold accountable, but can also hold us accountable for our goals and for our mission. And man, like, since knowing you, it's been a pleasure because, man, just seeing you speak your goals, but then also seeing you continually elevate. I'm like, damn, Obi, what can't you do? You know what I mean? So, man, like just being able to support and cheer your friends, man, and you just opening up this opportunity for us to be able to experience you, to hear your story, and ultimately being able to grow with you. I can't thank you enough. So let's put a pin in it.
Yeah.
Let's use this as a checkpoint. And guys, feel free to support Knotwtr. They supported us in this network, but most importantly, let's give back, because having the ability to give back to people that you care about, that care about you, and that, man, I mean, this is just the epitome of greatness. I can't thank you enough, bro. So
No, I
thanks for your
appreciate
time,
you,
bro.
dog. Thank you, Nigel. I really appreciate
No,
you,
of
dog.
course,
like
man.
for real.
Of course.
I'm glad we made this happen.
Absolutely,
Like,
man. It's been a
'cause
lot
my
of
guy, he about to be on the go. So I caught him, not on the go. I put a pin on his movement. So I appreciate it
Man,
for
it's
sure.
all love, bro.
Yes,
Can't
sir.
thank you enough.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes.